Welcome to Talk Show, ABC Talk Show. Real. Welcome to ABC Real Time Talk Show. Today, our main talk shall be on U.S. visa policy or visa restrictions on Bangladesh, U.S.-Bangladesh relations, geopolitics, and India-Canada relations. And first of all, let us introduce each other. Well, Professor Dr. Shaukat Ali. He is from America. He is economist and political analyst.
Thank you.
Mr. Ehsanullah Milon. He is from Bangladesh. He was a state minister for education in the Khalid administration from 2001 to 2006, and he belongs to BNP. Professor Dr. Joglul Haidar Choudhury. He is a political scientist and he is from Canada. Professor Farhad Hussain. He is from Bangladesh. He is an educationist and a political analyst. And today, let us Mr. Barrister Muhammad Abu Bakr Mullah. He is a renowned jurist in the United Kingdom, is known to European Union also. He is from United Kingdom.
Thank you for having me here.
Let us start our discussion on this issue. Well, Mr. Professor Dr. Shaukat Ali, my asking to you, you know very well there are a lot of problems regarding the visa restriction on many individuals on Bangladesh. And nobody knows what are the numbers, what are the extensions, what the limit. All these things are very much mysterious. What is your understanding about the whole thing?
Thank you. I'm very delighted, Sinabhai, joining with you with all these dignitaries and speakers. I want to mention something else. About 8 months ago, there was actually it is a demand from the government of Bangladesh. It is called Ledger, Ledger. Very few people knows it. That ledger means the United States give the money to Bangladesh. To my count, since independence 1971, United States almost gave almost $500 billion. With that money, where the money goes, in accounting science, it is called ledger. That means you took the money, show me the money where it is, penny by penny. This document, when they started, I was a little bit shocked and surprised. What is the meaning of it? And after that, I see all these things coming one after another. Of course, the election, human rights, all these human rights abusing, democratic right, all the policy distractions, and the looting of Bangladesh, and all those things started after that time. And then I was thinking that something coming out very serious. Now come back to your point of the visa restriction. This is a very, very small kind of, it is a part of sanction, but it is not that type of sanction because, visa is nothing but a privilege. It is not a right for any country around the world. It is the right for the citizens of the United States. But when they do, that African subnations and Central American countries around the world, instead of economic sanction, I think they found that, especially State Department, they found that it is easy to bar certain people. You might say it is a kind of punishment. They have the list, all the list people who applied for, who came to United States. Therefore, it is easy for them without damaging a big understanding or relationship with that particular country. So they started this thing, And I think for a country like Bangladesh, it's not very good thing to do. But I think there is no other way to restore the democratic principle, human rights, a fair, free elections, to stop a dictator or a fascist attitude of a government or exploiting the peoples. This is the first, I call it is a first salvo. This is the first round. If it does not work, if it does not achieve the intended goal, then there is something big is coming. I don't know when. It is today. It could be tomorrow. It could be day after the elections. And if it that happen, definitely we will be loser. I mean, the Bangladesh will be a losing concern in terms of everything. So, for example, the United States, the way they are going slowly, I think that means actually to correct the government policy without hurting the economic interest of that particular country or a friendly relationship. So if it does not work, then the economic sanction could be imposed, which is we have seen already against Russia or Iran or some other countries around the world. And it's devastating, the United States, because all the terms of trade agreement, it is all in terms of, the dollar terms. And dollar is the, reserve currency around the world. So to rectify the government policy, especially Bangladeshi government of Awami League, if they don't get the awareness, if they don't follow certain principles, the big thing is coming. Definitely, I have no doubt about it. So it depends the act and activities of the government. For example, the government, the United States could easily impose economic sanction against a Bangladeshi manufacturer. They can impose the restriction to political people, which is under now visa restrictions. They can put economic sanction on the government activities or government policies or any banks. So those kind of things is more devastating. And I hope the government, current government of Awami League, they will learn the lesson because of the small steps they have taken by the United States government. If it does not work, as I said earlier, that intended goal, if it is not achieved, then the whole nation will pay a heavy price. I will stop it. Thank you for asking the question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shaukat Ali. Mr. Joglul Haidar Choudhury, you are from Canada, you are a political scientist. As a political scientist, what is your study, please?
Well, thank you, Sinabhai. Thank you, honorable viewers and the learned panelists. Well, actually, Shaukat Bhai has correctly said was the impact, was the probable or possible impact of visa policy, and he has just clarified. I don't think I need to add something else. But the thing is that if you right now, if you look at the polity of Bangladesh, if you ask yourself what's going on in Bangladesh, the answer will automatically come from yourself that a lot of things are going on. The number one going on is the visa restriction. Everywhere people are talking about visa restriction. All television channels, electronic channels, print media, they're engaged with the analysis of visa restrictions. So it implies the whole thing, the gravity of the problem is easily understandable from the discussions and analysis of the thing from all quarters. But right now, I believe that right now Bangladesh is under attack, but this is not a military attack. You all know that. It's the visa attack or visa restriction you know that visa, this is an instrument of foreign policy. This is an instrument of diplomacy. And right now, America is using visa policy as the instrument of human rights. In order to establish human rights, in order to establish citizens' rights, in order to establish the voting rights in Bangladesh, America is imposing visa restrictions. And the reason is very known to us. In the last two elections, that's 2014 and 2018, Bangladeshi people at large could not vote, could not choose their representatives. As a result, there is a vacuum between the so-called elected representatives and the people. People did not vote. There are some people sitting in the parliament, they claim that they're elected representatives. There's a big gap. So in order to bridge this gap, America, as a leader of free world, as a leader of individualism, as a leader of laissez-faire economy, America cherish the goal of free market economy, freedom of speech, people's voting rights, citizenship rights, and voting rights and citizenship rights at large. These are human rights as well. If you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you'll see that people have the right, absolute right to choose their own leaders, own representatives. This is very much human rights and citizenship right as well. So this is the first thing. This one, they are trying to do this. Why America is trying to do this? First of all, this is a declared policy. They said that they want to promote democracy in Bangladesh. And how come it will happen? It will happen. They are saying that if anybody, any institution, any political party try to hinder democratic, free, fair, and inclusive election, he will be fallen under visa attack, under visa restriction. So if you look at the number of the people who are under visa attack, you'll see that the number is not very big, but the people who are being attacked, they are very influential, and that is very significant. And the visa attack on them in the American minds, this is very significant in order to ensure free, fair, and inclusive elections. So this is one thing. And if Bangladesh do not comply with this visa restrictions policy, still Bangladesh do not rectify itself, and as Shaukat Bhai correctly said, other embargoes are coming. It's not impossible that Bangladesh will have to face trade embargo, other economic embargo, anything else. It could happen. But why it is happening? If you look at the politics of Bangladesh, you will see that the political system, being as a student of political science, the political system of Bangladesh is not working. It is on the verge of collapse. As you know that, as a political science, you also know that a political system, from domestic and international environments are increasing demands for overhauling the political system. So last two elections, people could not vote. So major opposition political party, they are demanding for a caretaker government or election time government or interim government to conduct a free, fair, and inclusive elections. But it's a demand. This demand is being supported from international demand to international environment too. This demand is from domestic environment. As well as international environment, you see, America is now putting pressure on Bangladesh. Other EU countries are putting pressure on Bangladesh. And other civilized countries are putting pressure on Bangladesh for holding a free, fair, and inclusive election. That means people's domestic demands are being supported by international environment, international support. But unfortunately, as you know that, demands and support, demands are not enough to keep a political system running. In order to keep a political system running, you need to have the support from the ruling authority in order to make a decision. But the ruling authority totally failed to endorse people's demand. As a result, the increasingly demands, the number of demands are getting more and more and more, and it is getting together and try to put tremendous pressure on the political system.
Well, Mr. Joglul has...
Just a second. As a sequel, the whole political system is going to collapse. The thing is that it happened in 1990 during H.M. Ashraf's period, in 1969 during Ayub Khan's period, in 1971 during Bangladesh Liberation War period. Because our demands, Pakistan authority did not pay any.
Well, Mr. Joglul Haidar, we'll come to you again. We'll come to you again, please.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Ashraf Milon, you are a very, very experienced in the field of politics. At the same time, you are the ministers. Recently, we are hearing from the very mouths of the ruling party leaders and the ministers. Sometimes they are supporting the visa policy. At times, they are opposing the visa policy. Even a judge, a former judge, Justice Manik, he said the American ambassador should be ousted from Bangladesh. Why all these things are taking place here?
Thank you very much. And all the distinguished guests, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Well, I'm listening to this speech given by Dr. Shaukat Ali and Dr. Joglul Haidar, and I'm listening to your question. Let me say first, what is the people's aspiration about election? If you talk about PM to the tea stall, everybody is talking about free and fair election. None of the politicians are saying that we don't want free and fair election. So in this case, if somebody else say about the free and fair election, do you think it is wrong to say? Why? Because what we are demanding, what we are saying, the same thing are coming from the mouth of the United States of America. So I believe they are in the right track. What happened when democracy hindered in a nation? To me, in the world global village, whatever the country we have, chartered under the United Nations, more culprits are getting bought. It means, you see, if Bangladesh totally lost the democracy, a new North Korea will come up in the field of world politics. So why the other country would like it? Nobody will like it. So they will resist it. It's a very simple question. Rather than that, United States has a very long relation with us, like Dr. Shaukat and Dr. Joglul explained. If I say the Bangladesh is getting the highest direct foreign investment from United States of America, as Dr. Shaukat said earlier, do you think they're getting their return back home? No, not at all, because we have a dollar crisis. So everybody will face the music when Bangladesh will fall in a bad situation. United has a security relation with us, military cooperation with us, trade relation with us, human rights violating, that also a chartered country, we are from the United Nations. So if the human rights is violated, they have the rights to talk. They can talk about our democracy because we are chartered in the United Nations as a democratic country in the world. In our constitution, it was adopted in the Article 11 that the country will be a democratic country. Well, we have a Rohingya issue. Everybody is helping us with their spillovers. So all these things are accumulating with our country relationship. In this case, we need a free and fair election. Are you going to get any free and fair election? As we see, no, not at all. Because we had a very bad experience. Let's talk about 2014, the election, the 10th parliament election. 154 seats was elected without any contest, means it was selection. More than half, means majority seats were not elected. So was it elected government? Not at all. What did the current PM promise that time? She promised that there will be an election again, but did she? No. She ran 5 years. And then in the year of 2018, she committed. And they told us, and we believed them, that there will be good election in the year 2018. But what we had seen? We had seen the midnight election. So the procedure is keep on repeating. By the same election commission, the election commission was selected, the procedure they maintained in the year of 2012, the same construction, same procedure they did maintain in 2017. In the year of 2022, they adopt in the constitution the procedure to elect the election commission, but the same thing, which one they did in last time. Now the new election commission came down and he did not change any people representative order to make strengthen this election commission. No, not at all. So in this case, the same thing is repeating. So that is the reason the European Union observer team will not come in this country, because they understood there is no change happening yet. So this is the problem we have. Now, people are talking about why they put this visa restriction right before the election. I don't say it's right before the election. I would rather say in the year of 2014, in the parliament, the falsified election, and then consequently followed by the 2018, the same election. So now it is after election, because the restriction will give those people who helped Army League to get in power in the year of 2018, means the 11th parliament election. Also, they consider who did this activity in the year of 2014. So that's how they evaluated them, and they put on sanction and put on election visa restriction on us after 2018, after getting all through details and having a good research that which way we are heading towards. Now, if the same thing happened again in the year of 2024, can we afford, or the World Committee can afford, another culprit will born in the world arena without democracy? So that is the reason they won't allow it. Rather than that, the Biden government, before they get elected, they have a policy. They will work out for democracy, human rights, and removal of corrupted people in the world arena. So America is telling us that yes, we will not allow Bangladesh to have the same election. And they warn us clearly. They started talking about this 1.5 years ago. And the European Union, the ambassadors, they're visiting our election commission back and forth several times. And we are seeing a lot of United States officials, high officials visit Bangladesh and reminding the country to go for a free, fair, inclusive election. But it seems to me that the country's leaders, means Army League leaders, they don't care. They're telling, hey, we're not going to go to the United States. It's a 20 years long flight. Even the Prime Minister also saying the same thing. I don't understand. You all gentlemen are citizens of Bangladesh. A foreign policy of a country cannot be made in the morning and in the evening. There's no manufacturing house like that. If we don't want to keep a relation with the United States, we should have think about this thing earlier, and it should be brought on the table, and the government will follow. All of a sudden, America puts sanctions on us, and we're saying we're not going to go to America. I don't see this kind of thing the people can allow. Well, what America is saying, the aspiration, the people's demand, and what the United States is saying, we're saying the same thing. Now, come to the point, the question you asked me about the retired justice, Mr. Shamsuddin Manik. He said we should expel the U.S. ambassador from Bangladesh. Well, if U.S. ambassador said the same thing, what would want to say? I mean, so are you going to expel all the people of Bangladesh? Not at all. Now, come to the next point. Visa restriction is their internal matter. They're talking about their internal jurisdiction, internal administration. If they say, I'm not going to allow you to come to the United States, well, that's their country. That's their law. They will do whatever they like to do. Why I'm going to say, if you say that you are not going to give me a visa, I'll expel from the country? I don't believe a retired justice can say this kind of word, which I believe is very, very, I don't have the word to say what he is saying. Well, now come to the main reason. In the geopolitics of Bangladesh, we're getting much more important and stronger. So we should capitalize this thing. We should milk this thing. But instead of milking this, we are rather putting away of opportunity. Doing this thing, the country is near to a pothole. If you talk about our financial matter, we had in the year of 2021 nearly $48 billion. We had a reserve. Now we have only 21.5. We don't have any reserve for importing for 3 months. So you see, the next second loan of the IMF, $4.5 billion, we might not get it. So what would be happening in our country? You are living abroad, you don't know the country's prices are getting so high. Every day. Even we don't get a hilsha from the Padma River because there's a Ukraine war. And we are not getting any eggs because there's a Ukraine war. The chicken are not delivering eggs for a Ukraine war. This is a situation. The potato, we are exporting potato. Now for the Ukraine war, we don't have a potato. And every day dollar prices are going up. I guess today it is now closely 120. Every day it goes up and up and up. So we are heading towards Sri Lanka. Not that Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka is returning our $200 million. Already they returned with the interest of $200 million. We are heading towards the Sri Lanka, what they faced few months ago. So in this situation, who you are putting in trouble? The citizens of the country. And United States are trying to rescue us, to bail out us. And in this case, we are cursing the United States and all over the world. And in the meantime, you see, the order for the garments industry is getting almost near to the half. So what will be happen within a few days ahead? The industry will be shut down and the huge workers will come in the street. I don't know in Bangladesh what will be happen within the next 2 weeks. Wait for that day. My dear friend, Mr. Dr. Shaukat Ali, is staying in New York, and Dr. Jugal Haidara, you are in Canada, and Mr. Barrister Abu Bakar Mullah, you are in UK, you are in the same state, but we are your family members, we are your brothers. We are staying here in a jungle-like country, and you know.
Well, Mr. Milan, we'll come to you again. Well,
thank you, sir.
Mr. Barrister Muhammad Abu Bakar, you are a very, very vocal about the whole thing, and at the same time, you are coordinator of Jamaat Islam units in Europe. What are your observations?
Thank you very much again for having me here, joining with the distinguished guests. Visa restriction is a sign of a couple of measures the United States and the West has put in plan. The visa restriction has come at the very beginning. Why is this visa restriction? You know, the West, USA, Britain, and the European Union, they have adopted and enacted Magnitsky Law. It has many names in various parts of the West. With that very act, they adopt some measures. For what? For restoration of human rights, rule of law, justice, and democracy. When this current administration, the Biden administration, has come to power, the foreign minister of the US or the Foreign Office has said that the human rights would be at the forefront of the United States foreign policy. What they meant is that they are very keen on establishing or bringing back human rights globally. Those who are well aware of international politics and geopolitics, they know that the ruling regime of Awami League, they were once supported by the United States of America and by the rest of the West. They supported Awami League to come to power in 2009 with the hope that the people of Bangladesh will be able to see democracy. They will be able to achieve their rights through a fair judicial system and through a fair democratic system. However, the world has seen, in particular, the West has seen, that Awami League has helped their international friends, the Western friends, and their local, the fellow citizens of Bangladesh. I mean, the people of Bangladesh have been felt and frustrated by the ruling regime of Awami League, and this regime has held their international friends who supported Awami League to come to power in 2009. Sheikh Hasina, those who has got the knowledge of diplomatic world, they should know that Awami League spent a lot of funds before 2009 election in the USA and in the West. They hired, that is on record, you can Google it and check it, that Awami League, the ruling regime of Awami League before coming to the power in 2009, they hired a lobbying firm in the US to lobby for Sheikh Hasina or Awami League to come to the power. They gave hope and commitment to the USA and to the rest of the Western world that if they come to the power, they will establish democracy in Bangladesh. And Bangladesh will be a democratic country which will ensure rule of law, justice, and human rights. And they sell secular card in the West. However, what the Western world has seen in 2014 and 2018, I'm the witness. I had the chance to attend some international meetings where the opposition and the government representatives attended in some international forums. Before 2018 elections, I personally had the audience in those meetings, that where government has given commitment to the international community that if BNP-led opposition join the election in 2018, they will ensure a level playing field in the election. And with that hope given by Awami League, the Western world requested the opposition to participate in that election. But what the people of Bangladesh, ironically, and the Western world has observed, that Sheikh Hasina frustrated miserably the Western world. They did not hold a free and fair election. Because of that, 10th of December 2022, that the American State Department has issued their annual report on Bangladesh, where they clearly said that 2018 election was not a free and fair elections. The opposition leaders, activists, and their polling representatives were arrested before the election. And the ballot box was stuffed the night before. And they clearly said the 2018 elections and the following that elections, the regime which came to the power, it lacks legitimacy. I repeat, the United States has clearly said in their report that Awami League government following the 2018 elections lacks legitimacy. So the West and the US do not have any alternative.
Mr. Bokor, you have to cut to size to some extent.
Yes, the West and the USA do not have any alternatives but to impose visa restrictions on the first round. I said on the first round is visa restrictions. On second and third round, there will be other kind of tools. I will go into detail on my next round. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Abu Bakr. Well, we have other two guests. One, Professor Dr. Muhammad Kalimullah. He is already on the show. And Mr. Moni Hussain, he's from Australia. He's the Vice Chairman and General Secretary of Australian Federation Party. Welcome, both of you, to the talk show. Well, Mr. Farhad Hussain, you are listening to the talks of the four distinguished guests. And being a leader of the Awami League, what are your responses to all these things?
Okay, thank you very much, Sinabai. I'd like to express my gratitude to you that you have invited me in your prestigious show. I'd like to convey my salam to all honorable guests participated in your show. And I'd like to start with American policy. And I would like to mention
again, it's gone.
The prime thing of American foreign policy. The American foreign policy is strictly motivated by their interest. Where the interest exactly disturbed, the American foreign policy has been changed. And you know that their interest is given supreme priority, particularly. It is the core objective of American foreign policy. It is very important thing. And there is a verse like this in American foreign policy that interest is the priority. There is no perpetual friend, but the interest is perpetual. That is the prime objective of the American foreign policy. Now, there is a buzzword particularly, not only in Bangladesh, but all over Asia and also all over the world about the visa policy of the United States of America on Bangladesh. Now, my question is very flat and straight. If the election of 2014 and 2018, why the United States of America hadn't imposed this visa policy? What is the reason? They could have exactly imposed visa policy during the time in 2014 and 2018, but America didn't do it. Why? There is a reason. As far my knowledge goes.
Mr. Farhad,
as far my knowledge goes.
Would you allow me to ask you a question? Mr. Farhad, would you allow me to ask you a question?
No, I'd like to finish. If you exactly make an intervention on my speech, I'll exactly lose my point.
I was asking.
Please let me say. After my speech, when you will get exactly your turn, then you can exactly.
I was asking approval from
yes, you are allowed to speak. Let me finish my speech, sir.
No, I did not say that.
Let me finish. I'll lose my points.
Okay, go ahead.
I am not making any intervention on the speech of anybody else. Okay?
Go ahead.
Now, I think that the American visa policy is a global matter, is a global strategy. It is a very important thing. The strategy is that, it is a fact that we have been friendship with the United States of America for a long time, and roughly from 1972. It is an uninterrupted friendship between the United States of America and Bangladesh, And now there is an anticipation of the United States of America. Not only anticipation, it was the previous anticipation of the United States of America about China. The Chinese emerging power, particularly in the status of superpower, to control the Asian region and exactly to control the world trade is a matter of danger, is a tangible threat to the United States of America. And that is why visa policy being imposed by the United States of America on Bangladesh is a kind of strategy exactly to entangle Bangladesh, particularly in the side of the United States of America, to make another wall, another wall for China. That there are some US military establishments in Asian countries. I'd like to mention about Japan. In Japan, more than 100 US military establishment. In Philippines, not less than 50 US military establishments. In South Korea, and so even a Palau, a small country near Philippines, it is also noted by the United States of America, exactly with an objective of installation of the military basement. What is the reason of these so many military bases, particularly in Asian countries, in order to make a blockade before China? And visa policy of the United States of America is not merely to compel the government of Bangladesh to conduct a free and fair election, because United States of America by this time has come to know that the present government of Bangladesh is quite determined exactly to conduct a free and fair election. Even then, the visa policy and the gossiping of the visa policy is going on. It has been a buzzword in the sky of Dhaka all over Bangladesh. Why? The government has made it clear that the government is committed and determined to conduct a free and fair election. What is the reason? We have to, I think that in the visa policy, the United States of America has got a far-reaching sentiment and thinking. Now,
Mr. Farad,
the relation between India and
you short in history, Mr. Farad,
the United States of America. Yes, you know that few days ago, Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister of India, had been given a warm reception in Washington, D.C. by American President Joe Biden, you know. But what happened in Canada? You know, there is an assassination of a Sikh
that is the next word, Mr. Farad, we will come to the point. Not
should I stop here, sir?
Yeah.
Should I stop here, sir?
Yeah. I will come to again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Perhaps I have made clear what is the sentiment, real sentiment of the United States of America, particularly
thank you.
on imposing visa policy in Bangladesh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Professor Kalimullah, you are a very vocal voice in the talk show world, in the world of talk show. So what is...
Thank you, sir, for your kind words.
Your opinion about the whole things, Mr. Kalimullah. I will come to Abu Bakr. I will come to you, Mr. Please. Yeah. Mr. Kalimullah.
Yes, please. So, I beg my apology. I was late in joining because I was in the middle of another talk show in Canada. So it's over. Now I'm very much with you, and I promise I will stick to this program till the end. I have sort of listened to Mr. Abu Bakr and our beloved talk show mate, Mr. Farad Hussain, and got the impression that we have diametrically opposed views which have been put forward on the table. With reference to visa dictum and sanction of the United States of America, with reference to Bangladesh, I'd like to say that the United States of America has done a lot of homework before embarking on this venture. They have decided to come up with the declaration of sanctions on our elite force RAB as such, and 7 members who served in RAB and were serving been targeted, and the list were published to the Treasury Department. And later on, in the month of April, they have decided to include 2 of our honorary consul generals who are representing our interests in the Russian pantheon. And later on 24th of May this year, Secretary of State of America, Anthony Blinken, has come up with the announcement of visa dictum to a tweet message. And that was followed by interactive session with respected Jillur of Channel I, Twitter Master show. And it was Donald Lu who took part in that show, to our utter surprise. And later on, we found that on this month, Matthew Miller, American spokesman, spelled out that the visa dictum has already been announced. Now is the time to implement. And he declared that from that very day, they have started implementing it. And again, to our utter surprise, we found that Donald Lu interacted in synchronized manner with our esteemed newspaper, the Daily Star. And further on, Mr. Brian Shader, who acts as the spokesperson for the local outpost of the American establishment in Dhaka, clearly stated that everyone, quote unquote, could be a potential target in the visa dictum. So there is no space for giving benefit of doubt that the esteemed journalists of Bangladesh would be spared. No. Anyone has been found playing a detrimental role against ensuring free, fair, impartial, peaceful election, inclusive election, would be targeted. So it's clear, crystal clear. There is no room for speculation, and potentially the 17 crore people who are resident in Bangladesh and who are residing abroad as NRBs, each and every one theoretically can be targeted. So this is the latest position. And on the part of the establishment here in Bangladesh, those who are running the show, they are giving a little damn to what America thinks. Even the daughter of the father of the nation, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, has clearly spelled out that she doesn't care. So we are in a kind of eyeball-to-eyeball situation. It's kind of an impasse. So let's see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kalimullah. Now the turn is Mr. Moni. You are from Canberra, Australia. Everyone very much interested in Australia. At the same time, you are with the mainstream politics in Australia. And now you are the Secretary General of Australian Federation Party. So how do you view all these things taking place in Bangladesh? Mr. Moni Hussain. I think Mr. Moni Hussain is having problems, technical problems. But Dr. Shaukat Ali, you are the first person. You listen all these things, all the statements they are having.
Mr. Presenter,
what is your observations on this?
Mr. Presenter,
at the same time, I request you not to deal with the visa policy. It is over all the time. There is Tabu Bakar. You will have only 3 minutes time. You wanted to refute some logic put forward by Mr. Farah. Please.
Okay. Basically, I do not want to refute as such. I wanted to ask him a question. Can he substantiate his claim that what America did in the name of visa restriction, it was due to their own interest? It was not for the interest of the people of Bangladesh. It was not for the democracy, for democracy's sake. Can he substantiate his claim? And I have another question to him. Does he know that Biden administration foreign policy are clearly different from than that of Donald Trump foreign policy? Does he know Biden administration, from the very day they came to the power, they said categorically on 24th of February 2021 that human rights should be at the center of Biden administration foreign policy? Does he know that? If he knows it, that American government this time during Biden administration time has made democracy, rule of law, justice, and human rights are at the forefront of their foreign policy, how come Mr. Farhad Hussain makes this sort of claim that America has policy for their geopolitical interests? Can he prove what he said, that America, not for democracy, on human rights, full 100% honesty and sincerity, American government has did it for their geopolitical interests? Can he prove that? Or will he follow a political rhetoric adopted by the ruling regime? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Barrister Walker. Now we'll go to Mr. Professor.
No, I want to have the answer from Mr. Farhad. Can he prove it?
Well, Mr. Farhad, you will have 2 minutes time, please.
Should I start?
Yeah, 2 minutes, only 2 minutes.
Yes, I'd like to convey my honor to Barrister Abu Bakr, my brother. The thing is that America is maintaining equally the human rights everywhere in the world. What is the policy of the United States of America regarding Egypt? What is the message of American democracy, particularly for Middle East, where the despotic rulers are ruling the country? What is the message of democracy of the United States of America in Myanmar? So, the United States of America is dispensing the message of democracy, particularly according to his own wish, whims, and particularly motivated strictly by his own interest. Very clear? Because America is not in a position. So let me finish. When you were defending me, I do not exactly, I could not make an intervention. Let me finish. America is not equally taking the message of democracy for every country. The country, the 21st century is a century, is a century of information technology. So even staying in Bangladesh, I am in a position to know what is happening in the administration of Joe Biden and what is the real message of democracy of the United States of America towards the world.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Farhad. Well, thank you very much. Okay.
Will you allow me to respond?
You listen to everything. The big question is, how do you analyze the geopolitics? Is Bangladesh a prey to the geopolitics? Is a victim of the geopolitics?
Are you asking me this question? Are you asking
me? Excuse me. Yeah. Listen, I have a 2 pages, a letter written right here by 6 Republican Congress person. Your geopolitics and all this discussion between the Professor Farhad and Barrister Abu Bakr, I think it will be very clear. I appreciate Milan Bhai. He express his views very clearly, correctly, with a little bit political touch. But here, look what this says. Directly, it is written to the White House, President Biden. It says, in addition to crime against the own people, Hasina's misconduct encourages other bad actors in South Asia to make common alliance and hurts American national interests, security interests as the gang together draw closer to China and Russia. Well, of course, it is a geopolitics. It is United States policy to protect their interest. However, after this letter, there's a big letter, but I don't want to read all of this.
No, Mr. Shaukat Ali, will you allow me to speak? Will you allow
No. Just let me finish it. So what happened? They clearly say to protect the interest of the United States. This is the way a sovereign nation goes. However, Professor Farhad, he's discussing a lot of things. But I tell you one thing. What is going on actually? United States love Bangladesh since its independence. We can prove it economically. Remember the Biharis in Mirpur? When they are ground, the United Nations, that time we have no diplomatic relationship with the United States. They give the money through the NGO and United Nations. 80% of their budget, the United Nations contributed by the United States of America. Look at the Rohingyas now. Last week, they give you 174 million. This is in Bengali, we call it a mokto money. It's a free. You don't have to pay it back. Since independence, it's over $500 billion. United States give it to the Bangladeshi people. Across the government, I mean, whatever, it is BNP, Ershad, military dictator Ershad, or all those people because they love Bangladesh. Peter has knocking everybody's door, bringing this country together, helping to restore the human rights, to give the democratic principle back. Remember one thing, 1978, President Ziaur Rahman came to the United States with the invitation of President Carter. You know why? What is the reason behind it? It is the economics. President Ziaur Rahman at that time opened up the economy. It is called open market economy. When India was following the centralized planning of Russian and Cuban model, when Nepal was under the kingship, when Thailand was under the kingship, and all other areas were kind of tyranny. In that type of things, the situation, President Zia opened up the economy. You remember that. Denationalize the Baksali policy and open up the economy. United States love it. Look at what you're talking about, visa. Why are you crying for visa? There's more thing to come, brother. Think ahead. What the letter says, the Congress people, they clearly says the Sheikh Hasina government is bringing all other, Southeast Asian gang leaders together and bringing the Bangladesh closer to the China and Russia. Well, it will not happen. This is the challenge. Direct to the president. It's a letter written is May 25. So what are you talking about? Just for this? No. United States love Bangladesh. Look at this $5 billion. It is called FDI, foreign direct investment.
As I have shown
that created the infrastructure, the direct manufacturing industries. No country on earth they give this money. Bangladesh.
Because
all the tornadoes, all the floods, all these things, every time. Yes, China is giving loan. Russia is giving loan. Bharat cannot do it. Nothing because they have no money. And don't forget, for the first time, listen, the United States got the two, trade relationship with Bangladesh with the current account deficit on behalf of United States, but giving all this money, the surplus, trade surplus, with Bangladesh. Not China, no Russia, no India can do it. Please, do not blame the United States for this kind of help. What it does mean, that yes, $10 billion to $15 billion you are exporting garments to the United States. Yes, only $5 billion. Nobody give it to you. Only $5 billion foreign direct investment is going to Bangladesh. Pakistan, India getting much more than that. It's a different discussion. India and all those countries cannot afford to give it for FDI. On the other hand, India is taking $5 billion from Bangladesh of hard currency in terms of dollar for just the, to get this salary. And of the trade balance, forget it. It is in favor of India. We are having deficit. Only country we are having United States. This is another way to help Bangladesh giving more money. Please try to understand. We love Bangladesh. The United States, this guy, Peter Haas, Honorable Ambassador Peter Haas, just try to restore the democracy principle and the human rights. What is wrong? Why you don't discuss those issues? Why I have to go blind for any political parties? We love Bangladesh. Think about number one promising land we have. That is in Bangladesh. No country on earth. We want
well, Dr. Shaukat Ali, please, you short in your speech, please.
Okay. So what the Peter Haas is trying to do to help Bangladeshi people. Remember one thing, Sinabhai, this point you should discuss. It is called DV lottery, diversity visas, right? It is over. It is preferred over Africa, over European country. I said they love Bangladesh. I have every evidence I can tell you that they bring thousand people. I was at the beginning, I told brother Esanalok.
Okay, thank you very much. I will come to you again.
That time we don't have anybody. Now we have so much doctors, so much business people, and everybody is doing far better than anybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
So
I will come to you again. I will come to you again. Yes.
Sorry. One line. United States, the way Professor Farhad says, that United States going against Bangladesh. No, maybe the government of Bangladesh, the current fascist government of Bangladesh, not the people of Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dr. Jogrul Haidar Chaudhary from Canada. You listen to Mr. Shaukat Ali, and he made a very fiery speech in favor of USA.
Mr.
Sinha Bangladesh at the same time. So what are your opinions, please?
As I said before, that I have short of time. Can I beg 1 or 2 minutes and then I can go with all of your permission before Jogrul Haidar and everybody else?
Okay, Sinha, if you allow him, I'm okay.
Okay, go on, please.
Okay. 2 particular questions surrounding our discussion today, straightway to Mr. Farhad, as he represents the ruling regime. I said that the current regime of United States have a separate, distinctive foreign policy, and they declared it straightway coming to the office. And it is clearly different from the previous Donald Trump-led foreign policy. It is completely different. They said from the very beginning that human rights should be at the center of their foreign policy. When did they say? 2021, 24th of February. It is on record. You can Google it and check it. It is on their press release. So what they have done in the name of visa policy to restoration for democracy in Bangladesh, it is not new. It is part of their plan that they want to promote democracy globally. And it is not only for geopolitics. Dr. Shaukat Ali, with due respect, he said that he mentioned about the letter 6 congressmen has wrote to the president. Look, I have seen the letter myself also. American government, as I used to go and lobby with the Washington DC and Geneva and the European Union and to the Western world, and we know that under which values they work for and which values they want to promote for. Listen, the American administration has set up their core foreign values they want to export or they want to promote. Mr. Farhad said that America, I think that is the policy or that is the stand of his party, which he represents, that America does not work for democracy as such. They work for their interest only. Dr. Shaukat Ali kind of supporting that view that America is in Bangladesh, or what they have imposed, the visa policy, it was part of their geopolitics. No, with due respect, it is not part of their geopolitics as it might seem following the letter by 6 congressmen in May 2023. But the American foreign policy was adopted the very day Mr. Biden has taken the office. So it is not that they have adopted foreign policy following the letters of 6 congressmen. No, that is not right at all. It is the permanent foreign policy of Biden administration that they will work and promote human rights globally. Now, why they are against undemocratic regime? Primarily, it is against their international values or national values. And secondly, they feel security threat from those undemocratic regimes. I repeat it. There are 2 primary reasons why the US administration and the West, they promote democracy and the human rights and they work for democracy and human rights globally, passionately. Number 1 reason is that it is part of their shared values. Human rights and democracy are part of their shared international values. Secondly, they feel security threat from those undemocratic regimes. Wherever it is Bangladesh, wherever it is Burma, wherever it is China, wherever it is Russia, it doesn't matter. The matter is if there is an undemocratic regime, it is against the interest, global interest of the USA, and they feel security threat from them. They are not in particular for any reason against Awami League. They supported Awami League when Awami League committed to bring back democracy. When it has been proven that Awami League is not for democracy, and they are working against the people of Bangladesh. They are punishing the people of Bangladesh using the judiciary, using the law enforcement agency. Then American government has imposed visa restrictions, not only the political leaders of the ruling regime, against those who are supporting those regimes to stay in the power using some other tools such as judiciary.
No, Barrister Abu Bakr, let me tell you one thing. You repeated the same thing that the Congress people said it. Listen, what is the problem? No. Listen, what is the problem if United States got regional, any kind of interest or interest on Bangladesh or around the region? There is no problem. It is the same thing. Every country, they have their own interest. The Congress people letter I cited, they said, I did not read the whole thing. I did not read the whole thing. It clearly says, I agree with you. It clearly says that to restriction they said, look what this says. We request appropriate measures to give Bangladesh their best chance for free election, including stricter individual sanctions, banning Bangladeshi law enforcement and military personnel from participating in UN peacekeeping missions. So this letter is very comprehensive and it says it's very clear. We should not repeat those things. No, listen. We should not repeat those things. That is why. No. Look, first thing first, Barrister, you understand that thing. You living in a free country also. They could have different motivation. They could have different interest. We are not going to behind the mind of State Department or the President Biden. We are talking about Bangladesh strictly for Bangladesh. Listen, I said one thing.
That is what I
In
said.
19 no,
That is
President
what I
Reagan
said.
said, look,
That is
President
what
Reagan, I don't know what is your argument actually. I have no idea. You agreed, I agreed that completely it is because of the US
You
policy.
didn't get my point.
The
You didn't
whole
get my
thing,
point.
whole idea to save the humanity, restoring human, the human rights, democracy, and all those things they are doing. What Professor Farhad Hussain said, what happened to Egypt or Middle Eastern country, please don't bring those kind of analogy. Two mistakes cannot make a right. Here is the thing. A prevention is better than cure. I'm telling you right now, visa restriction, the way we cry, I don't want to say,
Mr.
as
Shaukat,
Professor Kolimullah
would
said,
you allow me 30 seconds?
let's see what
Would you allow
happened.
me
As Professor Kolimullah said, a fighting between the Prime Minister of Bangladesh or the United States, and let's see what happened. I don't want to wait for that. My point is, the United States love Bangladesh, and they love the peoples of Bangladesh. They give you thousands of people to come free visa, which is called diversity visa. Brother Milon was here. He knows that. Thousands of people came here, and we sent so much remittance and opportunity to help Bangladesh. So why you guys somebody is trying to go against the United? Oh, he did this. No. It's a very small steps without hurting the interest of Bangladesh economy. A restriction, visa restriction is a part of a big policy. If it does not work, you will see big salvo very soon. If it does not intend the intended goal, this policy. Listen one thing, President Reagan, it is not in the book. I heard it from his own mouth, and I am telling you right now, not in the book, you will never get it. The quotation is this: United States speaks softly but carries a big stick. I call it a Bangladeshi bamboo. Okay? They speak very softly, give more times to achieve certain goals. If it does not, then the big salvo is coming very soon. We don't want to happen in Bangladesh. We love, this is our country. We don't want to see the people suffering, 160 million people. But you know, the history will tell you one of the days. Professor Kolimullah studied very nicely all the histories. One day it will tell why the US policy, visa restriction, or the sanction, or economic embargo, or economic sanction came. What is the reason behind it? For whose interest? Who is the reason in the history? Who will bring those kind of sanction? My goal, my point is, you are all delighted, highly enlightened people. We should not wait to happen that things for Bangladeshi people and their sufferings. If our discussion helps, Professor Farhad Hussain can go easily tell them that do not try to put a sanction, which is joking. The Prime Minister of Bangladesh here in New York, which she did, she said she does not want to travel 23,000 miles to here in the United States. She said, how dare a Prime Minister of Bangladesh has said that the peoples of Bangladesh will put a sanction against the United States. Oh, yeah? Listen, I heard in the United Nations speech by Gaddafi, Hugo Chavez of Venezuela. I heard all other dictators came and said that, you know what happened? Within 2-3 years, they are kaput. They finished. I hope it will not happen in Bangladesh. We are a very small country. We are doing good. And economically, we are a very promising country. We should not say anything to discuss that the government of Bangladesh, the current government, missteps and take a wrong policy because of some kind of thing. Now, Milon Bhai said something about very interesting about the Justice Samsuddin. Well, listen, Milon Bhai, he is in London, living in a free country. And one talk show with veteran journalist Masud Kamal, he said, a justice never retired. Listen what he said.
Mm.
You said it very clearly. Kick him out. Oh, yeah? The our honorable ambassador, Peter Haas, you want to kick out? Listen, if anything happened for Peter Haas because of his, well, Milan Bhai, it is his edict, right? He demand. Always he said that justice never returned. So he's still justice. From London, a free country. He should not forget they have a bilateral agreement, security interest. If anything happened because of his word of the justice, the controversial justice of Samsudin to Peter Haas, the United States can bring him, if they think that it is a significant threat interest against the United States, it takes only a couple of minutes to bring him from London to New York. Okay, so this type of people overreaction because of his visa is revoked, and the current Prime Minister of Sheikh Hasina should not.
I'll come to you again, Mr. Shaukut. I will come to you again. Mr. Barrister Bokor, please, 2 minutes for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. What I was going to say in particular in response to Mr. Forhad, the person who is representing Awami League, I said that he wanted to discredit, and his party wanted to discredit what the US administration is doing for the people of Bangladesh. Look, I can tell you with full confidence, and Mr. Forhad and all of the panelists can check very well, wherever a people or the people of a country demands and cry for democracy from any part of the world, America is with them and will be with them. America will be supporting them. And it is their permanent foreign policy. And I said it very categorically that the American foreign policy under the Biden administration and the American foreign policy under the previous Trump administration are different. America has put and set human rights at the center of their foreign policy. What they are doing for the people of Bangladesh, for democracy, it is not for the geopolitical interest for the America. Why they are doing all these things for the people of Bangladesh? Because Bangladeshi people demands and Bangladeshi people are crying for democracy. And the civil society of Bangladesh and the political leaders of the Bangladesh, they have been approached to the US administration. They have been approached to the Western world that they are deprived of democracy. This is one reason. And second reason, as I said, that the Western world think and consider that if there is a regime where there is no democracy, where the perpetrators or the offender of human rights are there, they should be brought to justice according to the Magnitsky Act. It is their law. It is the law of UK. It is the law of European Union. It is the law of America. If anybody offends human rights, and if anybody goes against democratic process, he should be brought to justice. He should be his assets should be freezed following the Magnitsky Act, and also he should not be allowed to enter the USA or to the free world. That is the core principles of Magnitsky law. What the Western world has commitment to their laws and the values. It is not, as I said, I repeat it again, it is not only for the geopolitical interest of what America might have in our area. It is for their international commitment and commitment to the people of Bangladesh and commitment for exporting and promoting democracy, rule of law, and justice globally. Thank you very much.
Well. Thank you very much, Barrister Abu Bakr. Now, I am coming to Professor Dr. Jogdul Haidar Choudhury. You are a political scientist and listen to all the words and speeches delivered by Dr. Shaukat Ali and Barrister Abu Bakr. What is your reactions, please, as a political scientist?
Thing is that actually, what first let me answer some issues of Professor Faraz Hussain. He said that foreign policy, American foreign policy is framed on the basis of national interest. Yes, it is. Every country's foreign policy is based on national interest. In international relations, there is no eternal enmity, there is no eternal friendship. Only thing eternal, that is national interest. So American interest in Bangladesh is not purely humanitarian, is not purely politico-strategic. Because America is not a Ramakrishna Mission or Haji Muhammad Mohsin or any other donor agency. America has got its own interest too. There is a geopolitics. Of course, there is geopolitics. Geopolitics matters. In today's world, in today's international relations, is mainly known as geopolitics. International relations is nothing but geopolitics. Of course, you see in Asia, America has a clear-cut China containment policy. So in order to execute this China containment policy, definitely they need to add more and more countries with their alliance. And this is not a new thing. It happened long time ago too. During the Cold War politics, what do we see? There was a clearly two demarcated camp during the Cold War politics. That's why in 1971 war, America deliberately opposed the liberation war of Bangladesh. Because there is a Cold War politics. A lot of people, even in the scholarly arena, a lot of big scholars, they said that America opposed our liberation war in 71. They did a big blunder. No, they didn't do a blunder. What option did they have? It was the period of Cold War politics. America was clearly aligned with Pakistan and China at that point. And through ping pong diplomacy, they opened up their China. So at that point, do you think that America would support Bangladesh? Of course, they did what they could at the level track 2 diplomacy, through track 2 diplomacy. They did it. But after in the post-liberation period, once again, when Bangladesh policy was, Bangladesh adopted a centrally planned economic policy, and foreign policy was aligned with the Soviet Union and East European countries. What America did? America opposed us because our policy and their policy were not identical. The core values of Bangladesh and core values of America was different at that point. That's why Bangladesh was called international basket case. Some people call bottomless basket, although this is not true. They said international basket case. And again, when Bangladesh opened up its economy through Ziaur Rahman's diplomacy, that in order to open America, Ziaur Rahman invited Muhammad Ali Clay, and he had a fighting in Dhaka, the display. And after that, he went to Washington D.C. and wrote a letter to Jimmy Carter. He wrote like his letters with me. He wrote a letter, Honorable President Carter, Honorable Carter. Last week I went to Bangladesh and had a meeting with President Zia. Next week, President Zia will come to our capital and I will accompany him to the White House. And at that time, National Security Advisor was Mr. Brzezinski. And Brzezinski wrote on the letter, that letter I have it. He wrote that this is the latest ploy of President Zia. Anyway, this time I will give him full marks. And this is how Bangladesh established its diplomatic relationship with America. Before that, what is his name? Amar Khan?
Amar Siddiqui.
Bangladesh ambassador to the United States. He was Awami League. But in Zia's time, he was ambassador too. He tried several times to see the vice president of the United States of America. But American vice president didn't allow him. He said that what is the use of seeing Bangladeshi ambassador unless American vice president wants to see a lot of third world ambassadors. That is how he was denied. And finally, Ziaur Rahman, by inviting Muhammad Ali, he got the opportunity to reestablish our relationship with the United States. And again, Ziaur Rahman introduced domestically and internationally. He introduced free market economy domestically and internationally aligned with the West and Muslim world. And at that point, China too. And this is how our relationship developed. Therefore, The point I'm going to formulate here is that foreign policy is not something put. You have to make your foreign policy based on your own interest. That is what I'm saying. So what America did, partly in their national interest and partly humanitarian interest. You know that at this point, the point I just left before, at this point, America put, embargo on some people who are going to create disturbance, trouble for arranging a free, fair, and inclusive election. Why? Because at this point, America knows that the people's aspiration, hopes and aspiration of this country is that they want to have a free, fair election. They want to choose their own representative. They want to establish a democratic system. So that is the reason that is identical with American interest. As long as American interest is identical with our interest, we have no problem. Here, there is an economist here, Professor Shaukat Ali is here. He knows well that in a free market economy, the price is determined through the intersection of demand and supply curve. Demand, the intersecting point determines the price level. So this is how here, the same thing, our demand and their supply, our demand, the point which will intersect each other, that will be the, determining point, the determination of relationship between United States and Bangladesh. If US policy is in the interest of Bangladesh, if it is identical with the people's aspiration, we are going to go with this. But if it is not, we are going to oppose it. This is what my point is. So apart from this, right now, I don't know if I will get the floor again or not, but you are talking about India-Canada relationship too.
I'll come to you again.
Okay. At this point, I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Milon. For a long time, you are keeping mum, just listening to all these things. And Dr. Shaukat Ali quoted you several times. It means you have said something which carries tremendous significance to us.
Thank you, sir.
Your overall realization, please?
I'm listening all the statement now given by all the learned people. But sometimes I got surprised that whether we do understand our own problem internally, domestically, or we don't understand. That is my question. Though Bangladesh is the 8th largest populated nation in the world, so we have a strategically, geopolitically, and market-wise, we have such a good demand in the market. And whoever in this world will come and do business with us, we will buy weapons, we'll buy goods and products, we'll export. This is a world business and we'll be there. But we are talking about the democracy. If the democracy hindered by whoever that is, it means we, the citizens of the country, lost our voice. And it means a lot to us who are living in the country. We lost our human life, human rights, justice, and all this problem arises in our country right now. Because this government, they don't listen to anybody. My question to all the gentlemen, whether do we have a democracy in our country or not? America just said, if you don't go for a good election, we'll put sanction on the people, those who will obstruct the election system. What is wrong in this case? We'll go for a good election. Nobody will put any restriction on us. Can we talk about it? No, we are not talking about it. We are talking about the international politics of the United States of America. This is not my damn business to know what they're doing. All I want to know, what I'm getting from them, what they're telling to me, and am I going to get any benefit to them? That's the main point. Now, well, learned people are talking about something, they're comparing with the other countries, what is going to in Iran or Iraq or Arab Spring or Saudi Arabia or Israel or whatever it is, you are talking all those things. Why America is so much interested on us? I don't really care why America is so much interested on us. Am I giving my island to them? No, we are not giving anything. Are they inventing invasion in our country? No. Are they taking our land or anything? No. They're just coming forward to help us and to tell us that, yeah, we need a good democracy to be a good friend of your country. Is it mean anything wrong? Why this government is shouting so much? I don't understand. You give a good election, they are not going to say anything. But how come you will give good election? Do we trust this government? Not at all. In the year 2014, is there any good election? Was there? No, there was no good election in the year of 2014. Or in the year 2018? No, there was not a good election at all. So, can we trust this time on them? No. What is the formula for the election, for a good election? Who get away of this good formula for a good election? The Awami League. Why we were talking about all those things in the United States? No, I don't think so. It is the right thing to discuss. All I understand, we the citizen of the country, we all want a good election in the country. So our aspiration and the United States, what they're saying is the same thing. I don't say they're not talking the same thing. So let's talk about the good election and good future of our country. So in this case, a lot of discussion came in forward. I don't really care about it. You talk about the American ambassador, you want to expel him, or you want to attack him, doesn't matter. Bangladesh could do everything. Do you remember Marsha Barnicat in the year of 2018, 4th August? She was attacked by Awami League leaders in Muhammadpur Iqbal Road. They can do anything. This is called Awami League. So we are looking forward to see this Awami League will not attack even this, Peter D. Hatch. They're afraid of the security problems. You know, after the sanction, they lifted the security guard of this American embassy, all those things. Well, Biden's had a conference 2 times for democracy. That convention, Bangladesh was not invited. Why? It is shameful for us. Do you remember in the year of 1970, in the Pakistan time, we had an election, and that election we won. We got on 167 seats, but we couldn't get back in power. That's the reason we started our freedom, isn't it? If it would have been different, rather we could be in the power of Pakistan. Is there will be any Bangladesh? No, there was no Bangladesh. The Bangladesh was born only for democracy, nothing else. So we have to remember that. We forget about our history. We forget about our past. We are just talking that how could we stay in power? Why Awami League wants to stay in power without having a proper democratic system? Okay? So if they are so powerful, if they have so much support in the street, why don't they go for the good election? They are not talking about the good election. If we remember in the year 1991, the election for doctrine of necessity in Bangladesh, there was a good election. And in the year of 1996, there was also a good election. I'm talking 15 February. 15 February, BNP went for election only to pass the legislation in the House about the 13th Amendment for the caretaker concept adopted by the BNP government. For that reason, Awami League came back in power. So was it wrong? Nothing wrong. And in the year of 2008, there was a good election. 2001, there was a good election. But in the year 2008, that was not a caretaker government. That government prolonged for 2 years. In the caretaker concept, they never said that the government would be staying for 90 days. No, they made it 2 years. All right, that's passed away. And then Awami League government came and they put a 15th Amendment and they abolished the caretaker government concept. Why did they did it? After that, now we see in the year of 2015, there was no election. So the United States did not say anything because they are waiting and to see what is the next election. So they waited to the next election in the year 2018. Again, there is the further election, midnight election. Nobody addressed that election. Even the Japanese ambassador a few days ago, he said he heard there was a midnight election. Even the last election, chief election commissioner said, if you take EVM machine, there will be no election for the midnight. Everybody agreed about that. Everybody knows about that. There's no democracy. There's no election. So we are talking about the election, only election. So now, America is coming here for their business, for their interest. Why you let them come here to be with their interest? All they're saying what I am saying. They are raising my voice that we want democracy. Don't you see? There's a 2 crores of new voters. They did not cast their vote last 3 times. So what is going on here? In the capital city of Dhaka, in Gulshan area, the diplomat area, the army cantonment, there was an election 4 months ago, and only 11.51% vote was casted. So you see now, in the diplomatic zone, in the heart of the Dhaka, there was no election. So how could we trust this government? They will give a proper election. This is the last election for them. So it was not good. Now I'm going to wait for next election. This Awami League will give me good election. Should I believe that? I cannot believe that. So we want a good election. That is the reason America is talking. I'm talking the same. So you have to keep in mind, there's no way this time Awami League can pass over. And United States, they said it, that there should be a good election. You cannot avoid their visa restriction because all the public servants are scared of. Those who are sending their children in the United States, they will lose their visa. Already, they are putting their visa restriction to those people who did cooperate with Awami League last 2014 and 2018 election. Everybody is scared about it. They are nervous. Do you know this year only 10,000 students get visa in the United States of America? So can you avoid this in the United States of America? I don't have to beg for it. The people is not going to, avoid this visa sanction. Everybody understood. Only a few people who were blind Awami League, who were stolen our money, who were sending the funds of our country in other countries. These are the beneficiary people only looking for this kind of statement. I don't see any Bangladeshi people sitting in the tea stall.
Mr. Milan, your time is over. Just 1 minute.
Thank you so much.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Well, you extended my time 1 minute. Well, all I'm going to say, the coming election will be 2024. And this election, the European Union will not send any observer. And next month, on the 7th, the American observer will come here and to see whether we can conduct the election good or bad. I do understand very clearly the Election Commission hasn't changed any system or developed any system to conduct a better election yet. So there will be negative answer from United States observer. So without having an observer in this country, who will recognize this election? No one, no one. So we are heading towards a danger point. Please help this country and may Allah help us to get a better situation, have a good election, and let's pray for the best. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Milan.
Yes, please.
A second.
Yes.
I want to know, since you are with the policy making of a BNP or even close to BNP, so what option do you have? You think that if suppose BNP boycotted the election, government is not paying any heed to the oppositions and holding the election as 2010 or 18. And after that, they don't bother about American recognition or all these things. At that point, what do you think? What should be the probable consequences, or what will be the aftermath of this kind of election?
Well, the way you were asking me question, that you were pushing us to go for agitated program in the East Strait. Well, we are in the Strait. We are getting the consensus of the people around the country, and the people are supporting us. At the same time, world community is supporting us. So in this case, Awami League doesn't have any scope to go for a alone election. There is no such a way they could go for it. Without BNP, let's say Awami League are saying that they have a 40% of the national votes with them. We are saying we have a 38% national vote with them. In this case, if we are absent from the election and Awami League goes by themselves and their allies, in this case, they cannot go further, even though they will try, and they are trying. And their allies with Jatiya Party and others, if they go for election, they will be under Section 2 because they are helping Awami League to be in power. In this case, just wait 2 more weeks, you will see the whole things will be clear up. Just 2 more weeks. In the middle of the October, you will see when the American observer will come and they will find there is no changes in the election commission.
The thing is that the way they established absolute control over the army, over the police, over the civil administration, and everywhere, the people recruit. I know that most recruitments under this regime happen through blood test. So this thing, the whole administration is totally corrupted, totally not politicized, it's political.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Revelation never comes there because the time, date, and hour, and minutes, and second. You will say anytime.
Let us see actually what happened in the end. Well, Professor, Mr. Farad Hussain, you are single in the field. Even Professor Kolumullah is not trying to rescue you. So very difficult it is. So what is your reaction, responses to all these questions and analysis? Please. Mr. Farad Hussain.
Thank you, Sinabhai, once again for giving me the chance to speak. I'd like to clarify the comment of Justice Samsuddin Manik. Justice Samsuddin Manik is not the representative of the government. So his comment about the ambassador of the United States of America, Mr. Peter Hatch, is his personal comment. The party will not exactly the liability or responsibility of his comment. And now I'd like to say I have a habit of going to my village, hometown. My hometown is Brahmanbaria. Sinava, you know it very well. So I have got the scope exactly to study the pulse of the people. So Awami League is not frustrated about the impending election. Awami League is committed to conduct free and fair election. And as I told you, the United States of America State Department, Washington, D.C., know it very well. Another thing is that I'd like to say, Barrister Abu Bakr said so many things that Awami League is not concerned about the domestic politics. Awami League is concerned with something that is to have the opportunity to continue in power. It is very important. Bangladesh is a country of democracy. And there is no kingship or monarchy in Bangladesh. Election will be held, election shall be held. But the thing is that the European Union and other foreign observers, particularly the European Union exactly, made the comment that they are not sending their mission exactly to observe the election. But the thing is that they have exactly raised some points. They have the fund crisis, etc., etc. But the thing is that it is a prejudice. Why the European Union is taking prejudice before coming to observe the election? Let the European Union come and observe the election. What is happening? So before the conduct of the election, why the European observer or other foreign observer take the prejudice like this? It is, I think that it is a kind of creating a certain kind of negative impression, particularly in domestic domestic matter, in domestic way and in international way. That is very important. And other thing is that the United Nations, okay, fine. The relation between United Nations is not been deteriorated. Yes, there is a relation of the two countries in two ways: people to people relation, government to government. You know, I think that Awami League government continue in power for 15 years at a stretch. Okay, but there is a good relation between the government of Bangladesh and between the government of the United States of America. What happened abruptly has been done. You know, I don't know. The thing is that I don't like to make an adverse comment on Ambassador Peter Hatch, the ambassador of the United States of America, working in the Supreme Mission of Dhaka, Supreme Mission of the United States of America in Dhaka. But he's acting like a political leader. I think that it is very clear in Vienna Convention 1962, there is a particular narratives about the functions and duties of a diplomat. What is the duty of what are the duties of a diplomat in the receiving country? Okay, in the receiving country, there is a specific responsibility of a diplomat, that is to secure the interest of his own country and to secure the lives and property of his own country in the receiving country. But what is the function, as we are watching? The function of the ambassador of the United States of America in Dhaka is acting like a political leader. I think that this scenario is not exactly healthy for smooth running of politics in Bangladesh. And I think that I have stepped in a particular stage of age. I do not find this sort of exactly activities of any foreign mission like this, what American embassy is doing right now. I am surprised really, because it is a new experience. For me, I do not see during my whole life, I had not seen in the past and in the recent past like this. So I think that there is an apprehension lies in this fact. Why America has abruptly taking this sort of decision. You know that Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi had been received by Washington DC very cordially. But what happened in Canada? You know that 5 states like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Britain, and America, they have a very common voice in any international issue. But you know that what I was telling, particularly in my first step of speaking. Now I am exactly completing my speech, particularly on this. You know, an Indian Sikh diaspora, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, had been assassinated. You know, and we see that the Canadian Prime Minister, Mr. Justin Trudeau, exactly was found very hasty to make the comment. And he comment particularly on this assassination. And he did not make the comment privately. He made the comment publicly, and not only that, he exactly made the comment in the Parliament of Canada. And it is a matter of thought. I think that what is going on right now in the world arena, we know that we have to exactly look over this very carefully. You know, I think that I fervently believe that without the signal of the United States of America, Canadian Prime Minister cannot make this sort of comment. And Justin Trudeau has come from a very, 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 very political, very dazzling political background. His father, Pierre Trudeau, became the Prime Minister of Canada for 3 times, for 10 years. And he was Trudeau was a very mature politician. I think that I am provoked to think why Mr. Trudeau has made this sort of abrupt comment, and exactly without taking. This problem arise between India and Canada, you know, that could have been solved diplomatically. But why Canada has shown this sort of attitude? Not only that, the withdrawal of the diplomats have been made by the 2 countries. So all these things happening, particularly, should be considered with a certain kind of feeling what might be happen in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Sinabhai, I have one question to Professor Farhad.
Yes, go on.
A simple question. Do you think that current Prime Minister of Bangladesh impose
Sir, I can't hear you.
Against United States, or the Prime Minister, as you said, something against our Honorable Ambassador Peter Haas should be kicked out from Bangladesh? What do you think?
I can't hear you, and that is why I'm not in a position to answer your question, sir.
Should I repeat it again?
Okay.
Cannot hear?
Yes.
You can hear me now?
You please repeat it.
Yeah. Professor Farhad, my question is very simple. Do you think the current Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, should impose any kind of sanction against United States, or in a position to kick our Honorable Ambassador Peter Haas from Bangladesh? Thank you.
I think that no. I think that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will not take this sort of step exactly to make the withdrawal of US ambassador from Dhaka. And another thing is that Bangladesh does not believe in any sanction, any policy, visa policy like this. Bangladesh is a smaller nation. Okay? Bangladesh is a country, we are in the line of getting a particular developing strain. So why should I take this sort of, why the government of Bangladesh should take this sort of step? I have exactly made the clear comment of the Justice Samsuddin Manik. Yes,
Farhad,
it is his personal comment about Peter Hatch. Samsuddin Manik comments exactly cannot be the comment of the government. Okay?
That is correct.
So the
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now we'll come to Mr. Professor Kalimullah. Mr. Kalimullah, now you are a very, very strong voice in the social media, especially in the online channels. And every day you are making some comments and what you believe. And most of the comments you made in the past, we see some of them came to light very, very, very practically. So, what are your conclusions of the talk show?
Well, Mr. esteemed anchor, I would like to say that for all we have said and done, October will be the turning point. I fully agree with Dr. Shaukat Ali that visa dictum is just the beginning. America has 1,001 ways to implement its measures. And they're very focused and they're determined. So, without any homework, they haven't embarked upon this policy. And their premise is they want to make sure the people of Bangladesh can freely exercise their voting rights. On behalf of the international community, on behalf of the free world, they have taken up this Herculean task on their shoulder. And nothing wrong in that. We have treaty obligations, we have protocol obligations, and we cannot go against the norm, the values and ethos, universal values of plural space. Our founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, fought and sacrificed his life for establishing democracy. So, we, the citizens of Bangladesh, cannot be denied of their rights, democratic rights. And America is acting as the custodian, the patriarch of the free world. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all. And before ending the talk show, let me summarize what the guests expressed openly. And there is no denying the fact that if we do summarize the whole thing, so we got that Bangladesh is at a stage of critical juncture because Bangladesh is not moving very well at this time from the point of economics, from the point of politics, political culture, everything, business, trade, and commerce. And so at such situation, it is the responsibility of the political parties and political leaders to pave the way for better advancement of politics and democracy. But what will happen to us, we don't know. Because of visa crisis, visa policy, and geopolitics, Bangladesh is at a very, 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 very critical juncture. And who will rescue Bangladesh? Wonderful. My brother Hassan Bilal says, let us pray to Almighty Allah. And I also say, this is a time to raise your hands to Almighty Allah. It is only Allah who can save us, because there is no denying the fact, because political leaders in Bangladesh again, they failed. They could not implement the hopes and aspirations of the people of Bangladesh. They could not put into practice the dream of the people of Bangladesh, the dream of the independence of Bangladesh, dream of the freedom fighters of Bangladesh. All these things taken together. We have to say one thing is that let the political parties and political leaders think these days are not the last days. Days ahead of us are more important for us. And thank you very much, all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.